Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to day 1068 of trying a new makeup product every day. Today I'm so excited to try out this Lucky Glow bronze and highlighter palette from the brand True and Luscious. I've never heard of this brand before, but I got this in my December 2020 Boxycharm premium box and it looks beautiful. I love trying out new makeup brands. This is also vegan, cruelty-free, safety tested, formulated without parabens, phthalates, triclosan, or talc. And it's this huge palette that comes with 6 huge shades. Great mix of highlight, bronzer, blush, and there's a big mirror here. And this has a retail value of $46, which I feel like is expensive for a palette, but that makes me really excited to try it out because I got it for a great deal in my Boxycharm premium box, which cost $35, and I got 5 other products. So if you want to see my unboxing of that, I'll have that video linked in the description down below. But first things first, I just want to go ahead and swatch all of the different shades. The bronzers look kind of light in their shades. Like they'll work for my fair skin, but usually I feel like you get a darker bronzer. And also these 2 shades are very similar. I was thinking maybe one's more cool toned, one's more warm toned, and I think that might be the case with these 2, but it's very slight. Very interested in this shade here. Ooh. Oh wow, interesting. So after swatching it, I now see that there's 2 matte bronzers, 1 matte blush, and 3 highlighters. A kind of silvery champagne highlighter, a gold highlighter, and a bronzy rose highlighter. So here are those swatches. They seem to swatch really nicely. It's an interesting mix of shades, but I like it. So when I do my face contour, highlight, and blush, I usually start out with my bronzer contour. So if they're slightly different in cool tone versus warm tone, I typically use a cool tone, but I can go neutral, so I think both shades should work for me. But I'm going to start with this one here, which is more of the cool tone. And I'm going to go ahead and blend that onto the cheek. It's swatched pretty pigmented, but I feel like I can go in with a really heavy hand. Like I've dipped my brush back in, that's 3 times now. And it's still not too intense on my face. So that's like what I was saying. I feel like the bronzers are very light in this palette. So they're light in shade, but also kind of light in pigment. So I'm just gonna maybe do half of my face in one of the bronzers, and I'll do the other side of my face in the other shade. And I'm not crazy about this shade. I don't feel like it adds like warmth or sun-kissed effect to my skin all that much. It's a little bit muddy on the face. I'm gonna clean my brush off. And then on the other side of my face, which before I even do that, let me show you the difference with it versus without it. Like it's a very minimal, subtle difference. But so now I'm gonna pick up the other bronzer. Seeing the 2 shades next to each other on my forehead, it's so similar. Like you really don't even notice a difference in color that much. This one I feel like is pretty much exactly the same as the other shade in how it looks and in how light it is for the color and the pigment. Like, I can go in with such a heavy hand, which I like because I always tend to use a heavy hand when I apply blush and bronzer. I don't know, I just don't really love these shades. I mean, they look okay on the skin, but I don't feel like they blend it out super easily or even. And if you even have darker skin than I do, I feel like it's barely gonna do anything and barely show up. Well, next I'll go into the blush, and there's only this one option. It seemed pretty pigmented when I swatched it. Lots of kickback. So I'm gonna go in with a light hand to start. All right, that shows up pretty well. I'm gonna go in with one more light amount. Like, I like the pigment of this blush. I like this formula. Like, that really shows up. I mean, you really only need one light layer of the blush for it to show up. Very different from the bronzer. And this is a nice shade, like a peachy pink. It's not, once again, not like my favorite blush shade, and you only get that one option. It's just kind of bright. Like, this blush with the bronzer shade, I feel like they aren't very complementary. I'm not loving how this color combination's looking on me, but it's a very pigmented blush. So yeah, it's okay. The bronzer is like really throwing me off. It just looks so splotchy. Well, I want to try and use all of the highlighters as well. So first, I'm going to take the lightest one here, and with my finger, I'm going to apply it as a brow highlight. I feel like this is a pretty light brow highlight, inner corner highlight, because it's nice and brightening, but not, once again, not crazy super pigmented. I feel like I can use a really heavy hand and layer it on a lot to try and get it to show up as much as I want. So it's pretty, but it's definitely not amazing. Since I'm not like seeing that much pigment to these, I'm gonna just go right ahead and use my finger to apply the highlighters to my cheeks. So first, I'll start out with this golden highlighter. And let's see how that looks. I think that's looking pretty. Seems to have good pigment, good glow. It blends easily. I feel like I can go in with even more. And it seems buildable. I mean, it's not that bright though. Like, it doesn't have too much sheen when the light hits it. You see, like, normally I'm getting more glow and radiance from highlighters that I use. And even with a lot applied, it's just not very radiant. And I don't love the shade either, but that's also like with my skin tone. But I also don't understand what skin tone this palette's made for, because the bronzers are very light, but then this gold highlight is kind of too dark for me. The blush, I feel like would look better on a darker skin tone as well. I'm just kind of confused and just not very impressed. On the other cheek, I'll go ahead and try out the last shade, which is this one here, that swatch, kind of like a bronzy rose gold. a little bit better. This one has a lot more glitter, sparkle to it compared to this one. So you kind of get that streak of sparkle. It is pretty though, but once again, not too much glow. I thought this shade might be a little too dark for me, and maybe it is in certain lighting, but I think I like that one better than this side. Yeah, so I don't know, I don't love any of the shades in here, and I am very surprised. I thought I was going to love all these shades. When I swatched it, I was impressed, but seeing it on my face, it looks okay. Definitely not worth $46. I mean, I have favorite bronzers, blushes, and highlighters that are a couple dollars each that I would prefer over any of these shades in this $46 palette. And I just, like I keep saying, I just don't feel like it's a very cohesive palette. Like maybe I could use some of the shades on my eyes to get some use out of this. But for the purpose of being a bronzer and highlight palette, can't say that I would be reaching for it for that. But I definitely want to know in the comments down below your thoughts on this palette, if you have tried it out, or any other products from this brand, True and Luscious. But as always, thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.